What's going on, YouTube? What did it do, people? See, checking in with y'all as I'm rolling through Salisbury, Maryland, on my way up to Pennsylvania to pick up trainee number 7. And with that said, this video and what I want to talk about is the importance of listening to, soaking up the game, taking the advice and the information that your trainer is passing along to you throughout the training process, especially when you have a good trainer that actually cares about how you do once you get off of their truck. Because we all know there are a lot of shit trainers out here who don't care about their trainees at all, outside of the extra money that they can make with that person or that extra body on the truck driving another shift. So
in 2 miles, continue straight.
Trainers' jobs can be summed up, in my opinion, this is my words. The job of the trainer is to build a foundation, to help the trainee build a foundation so that they can be successful, safe, and productive drivers once they upgrade and become solo drivers and get into their own truck. That foundation is important, it's key, right? Because you can't build anything without a foundation. You can't build a house, you can't build a shed, you can't build a 120 floor skyscraper if you don't have a solid foundation in place. So that foundation is key, and that, as far as I'm concerned, as far as my experience and my opinion, going through the training process, although my training process was fairly brief, but going through my training process and being a trainer, as I mentioned, going into working with my 7th trainee, this is the conclusion I've come to. My job as a trainer is to help this trainee build a foundation that they can rely upon, especially in the first couple weeks and months of them being out here solo on their own. And at that point, once you got here on your own and you got that solid foundation in place, then you can build upon that. The way I did something, the routine I have, may not work best for you. You might be more comfortable doing it another way, but the point is that the way I do it works. It's proven it works. I've been using my routines and my little tricks of the trade and ways of doing things for several years. They work. And like I said, it might not work for you. You might prefer to do it a different way, but the point is that your foundation includes the way I do things, and they work. And at that point, you can build upon it from there. Okay. You can build upon it from there. For example, I did a video, shameless plug on my own channel, but whatever, on my own video. But I did a video a little while ago. I think it was I know I did one entitled, something about routines, or why having routines is important. But I did a video on how I drop and hook, right? And I get out the truck. The first thing I do when I'm dropping the trailer is I let the landing gear down. Let the landing gear down. From there I move up. I pull the lever to unlatch the kingpin. From there I hit my air lines and my electrical lines. And then from there I get in the truck. I unhook, I uncouple, and I go look for my next trailer. I do it that way. It's a routine. It's a little checklist, and it goes in sequence. I walk away, the furthest away from the truck. If it's a loaded trailer, I forgot this part. If it's a loaded trailer, I go to the back and take off my lock, but whatever. As far as the key things, landing gear, which is the furthest away from the cab, and I'm working my way back to the cab. Landing gear, kingpin, electrical lines, back of the truck, pull off. Maybe you don't like doing it that way. Maybe you want to do it a different way. But the point is, the way I taught you is in your foundation, and it works, and you know it works. Once you get out here on your own, and if you decide to do it a different way, that's on you. At the end of the day, your foundation has been built. You know what to do, and you know how to do it. The key things, the rhetorical things, when it comes to being a successful truck driver, right? So dealing with obviously I pull reefer, dealing with reefer or van is very important to backing is very important, period. But especially with reefer and van, because that's the only way you're gonna get loaded and unloaded. You're going to have to back onto a dock. More times than not, 99.995% of the time, you're going to have to back onto a dock. There are other methods of unloading trailers that I've experienced, but overwhelming majority of the time, you're going to back onto a dock to get loaded and unloaded. That's a pillar in your foundation. You need to be comfortable with that. You need to know how to do that. Getting your weights right. Tandem, sliding them, knowing where to slide them, knowing how far to slide them, knowing how much each hole weighs as far as the weight transfer goes. I believe with prime trailers, it's pretty much, I go off the rule of thumb that each hole is 500 pounds. So if I move it forward 2 holes, that's shifting 1,000 pounds onto the trailer, right? If I move the tandems forward. If I move them backwards, it's shifting 1,000 pounds onto the drive tandems, right? So that's another important pillar of the foundation that you're establishing while you're going through the training process. There are others, but I don't feel like going that far into it. But that's the point. And like I said, or if I haven't said it, especially if you got a good trainer, if you got one that really cares about how you do beyond being on the truck with them, you know, appreciate that, take that to heart, listen to what they say, and, you know, more than anything, appreciate the fact that you got a good one, because there are a lot out here that really don't give a dang. Once you get up off their truck, whatever happens, if you crash and burn on your first load, they'll look at you and probably laugh and keep it moving. You got people like that. I don't want to see that for anybody that I train, anybody that I come into contact with, aside from training. I mean, it's people that reach out to me on social media that are subscribers of my channel on YouTube that ask me for advice, and I help them, and I don't want to see them fail either. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of person I am. So especially somebody that's been on my truck for several weeks, I've gotten to know you, you know, your goals in life, your home life, your family, kids, things like that. I don't want to see you come out here and fail. And that's what I had to relay to my last trainee when we were talking, and he said, well, you know, I don't want to go out here and do bad, because, you know, it's going to look bad on you, speaking to me. So he's like, it'll look bad on me if he goes out here and he doesn't do well. And I told him, you know, no, that's not true. It's not going to reflect badly on me. It's going to reflect badly on you. You know, at the end of the day, man, I told him, you know, you're not my first, second, or third trainee. You're not my last. And everybody that's come before you has done well. No issues, nothing major. So I told him, hypothetically, if you come out here and things go south for you, it's not going to reflect badly on me, because my track record already says that I do a good job with my trainees. But aside from that, at the end of the day, if you come out here and you mess up, you messed up. You feel me? Like, that's on you. There's nobody going to look and say, well, who trained this guy? Like, nah, you had an accident, bro. That's on you. You know, you didn't read your load assignment. You didn't set your reefer to the right temperature. You get all the way to your receiver, they refuse it because the product is not up to their standard. It's gone bad or whatever. That's on you. I taught you what to do. I told you to read the load assignment. I taught you how to set the reefer. So I told him, I said, nah, it's not going to reflect badly on me. Don't worry about doing the right thing, and when you get out here on your own, you know, don't worry about how it's going to affect me. Worry about how it's going to affect you, because it's not going to affect me at all. I've been driving long enough. My record is what it is. I can go anywhere I want to get a job. That's not what I care to do right now, but, you know, obviously I'm here to get my ducats right so I can get my own truck and continue growing my own business. But, you know, if I were looking for another job, I can go pretty much wherever I want to, man. I got enough years in the game, a safe record, safe driving record, you know, several years local experience, several years OTR experience. You know, I got the doubles, I got the Tinker endorsement. I can pretty much do whatever it is that I want to do at this point. It's not going to affect badly on me or any other trainer if you fail and you crash and burn literally and figuratively speaking, it's going to reflect badly on you. So, you know, like I said, to him, take my advice, bro. Like, you know, take all the information I'm giving you, soak it up. It's all for you. You know what I'm saying? It's all to make you, put you in the best position to succeed and be successful and safe out here and productive. It's all about you. It ain't about me. I'm fine. I've been doing this long enough. I know what to do. I know, you know, I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to help you out. So, and with that said, man, it's been 10 minutes. Let me get to this last part, which is which prompted me to make this video. And without giving too much information away on my last trainee, man, I don't want to put all his personal business out there, but he's found himself in a very peculiar situation. And part of it has to do with two things in particular that I drilled him on. I mean, I was on his back about it every other day at least for several weeks. And this goes back to having a good trainer and one that cares, because obviously I care. Could have easily wiped my hands and said, you know what, he'd have made the same mistake several times. He go out here and he do the same thing on his own, and it leads to a bad situation. That's on him. No, that wasn't me. I stayed on this case about it. Up until the last couple of days he's on my truck, man. Reminding him, you know, read your signs, read the road signs, read all the signs. You know what I mean? Pay attention to your mirrors. Always watch your trailer when you're turning. You know, those are just two of the things. You know what I mean? But you know, like I said, without divulging into my man's personal information, the situation he's going through right now, he's found himself in a really, really tough spot. And what got him into this spot is the two things I just mentioned played a role in it. And those are two things that I stayed on his case about getting better with. You know, so long story short, he's got himself into a situation where he could potentially be fired. You know, and that's really gonna hurt me, man, because I know how hard he's worked to get to this point. And, you know, to go out here and be on your own for 2 or 3 weeks, and to go from the highs of that to the lows of, man, you could potentially lose your job for basically making the same mistakes that you made multiple times in training, is not going to sit well with you. You know, so I'm hoping and praying for the best for him, that the situation resolves itself and works out for the best, and it's more or less one more learning experience for him. But this situation that my guy is currently dealing with has the potential to go all the way south to the point where he could be fired, and you know, I'm just gonna leave it at that, because I don't want to put too much of his information out there, man, or his business out there. But it's real out here, man. You know, we're not talking about working at McDonald's where you give somebody the wrong order, they come back in, they might snap on you, but all you gotta do is, look, man, I told you no pickles on that dang quarter pounder, bruh. Like, you're not listening, and all it takes is basically somebody make another quarter pounder with no pickles on it. You mess up out here, man, you risk the potential of, worst case scenario, killing yourself or somebody else, prison time, all types of exorbitant fines, you know, the potential of losing your job, losing your CDL. You know, forget losing your job, you can get another job as long as you got that CDL. But you do something where they just take the whole CDL away, now you lost your whole livelihood, man. It's real out here, you know what I mean? And that's something that needs to be stressed. That's something that needs to be stressed right there. So with that said, this video has gone on long enough, man. I didn't want it to be this long, but you know, this is an important topic, you know, I wanted to touch on, and more so for the new drivers, you know, those y'all out here going through training, those y'all who watch my videos that are planning on coming out to, you know, whatever company, Prime, KLLM, Stevens, Swift, whatever, and plan on getting into the trucking industry, man. Take heed to this, man. It's not a game, man. And if you got a good trainer, man, soak up all the knowledge, all the information, all the advice you can, so that you can be successful and succeed when you get out here, man. That's pretty much it. So, oh man, with that said, y'all know what it is. As always, it's your man JMV. Till next time, y'all be easy.